everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my co-host, Donald Thomas. Donald, what a week in the NFL this week. A lot of games happened, a lot of storylines, and I think we should just jump right into it, in all honesty. What was the biggest shocking game that you saw this week?
The biggest shocking game? Like I said earlier, it's not a shock in my opinion, but the Jets are who we thought they were. I'm just going to throw that out there. I was not shocked to see them lose. But there's shocks. I mean, we can go down the list. I think that stood out to me the most. And then also that Cincinnati game. That was a shock to me personally. Cincinnati's got some issues, some serious issues. And so and then the Denver game, nail biter all the way down. Not shocked though. The Denver is winless. They got a lot of holes and a lot of deficiencies as well. So we can get into it.
I want to remind everybody that BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, NFL, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember, use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Absolutely, we can get into it. The biggest shock to me was the Patriots Dolphins last night, where we're used to the Patriots being able to run the football well and have a really good offensive line, and we did not see either of that against the Miami Dolphins. That is something that was absolutely shocking to me.
No, I mean, change of the guards. The Patriots dynasty is over with. I spent 2 seasons in New England during that dynasty era and championship runs. And this ain't that team anymore. This is not that. And, Belichick, in my opinion, is still a great coach, but it's just a changing of the guards. New England is not a good football team. In my opinion, Mac Jones is not a good quarterback. He is mediocre at best. He makes a lot of bad decisions with the football. The offensive line is not what they used to be. The number one reason is because I'm not there anymore. No, I'm just joking. But what I'm saying? They're not a good football team. They're just not great divisional rivalry, but it's going to be dominated by the other team, right? And AFC East, in my opinion, because I played in that division for a majority of my career, is a very hard division. I mean, when it's a divisional game, I've never played in more physical divisional games than the AFC East. But I was not surprised about last night at all. I like from the jump, just Miami, better offense, better defense, you name it across the board. That special teams play was pretty impressive with the motioning in the that was a Dolphins game, correct? When they motioned in they blocked the kick, right?
I think so, yeah.
I watched so much football yesterday, but
me too.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised by that one.
Absolutely. So I want to go ahead and jump to the NFC real quick. We got 3 teams I have big questions on right now.
Okay.
Who is the best in the NFC right now? Is it the Eagles? Is it the Cowboys? Is it the Niners? Because all 3 of those teams look really, really good right now.
Ooh. Man, you know what? It's not the Cowboys. I'll start there. It's not. It is not the Cowboys. Cowboys do this every year. I'm not even talking about them anymore right now. So it's between Eagles and Niners. And the only reason why I'm gonna say this, the Niners have way more playmakers. Way more play. I mean, they are dynamic over there. Like tight end, receiver. You want to call McCaffrey a receiver? You want to call they got playmakers over there, right? But the Eagles, when it comes down to it, what's going to win you football games with championships is running the football. And they have an offensive line they can run the football. And I don't care who you put back there, you're going to get 4 yards falling forward. And that's championship winning football right there. So I'm going to give it to the Eagles. I'm not even talking about the quarterback, but if you want to go to the quarterback, Eagles have a better quarterback. I mean, Purdy's proven himself so far so good, right? But Hurts has a resume. He's showing and he's got that money, and they're still winning football games. I mean, unlike someone else who just got paid and they're 0-2. We won't say any names yet. But what I'm saying is that, they have, in my opinion, up front, they beat the 49ers. They have a great, great offensive line. They can run the football, and I'm going to give the edge to Philly.
Well, okay. I'm not going to disagree with that. I like you said, the Niners, they have even their fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, right? I mean, good Lord, all the way down to the fullback, they got playmakers all over.
Talent. They are talented.
But, man, I love the way, and both teams well coached, right? Very well coached teams. They both have good defenses. They got good offenses. I like what Jalen Hurts brings to the Eagles more than what I like, with the Niners. Now, to be fair, I feel like you could play quarterback for the 49ers.
Oh, we won't. That's not
Yeah. I mean, it seems that way, don't it?
Yeah,
I mean, you just plug and play anybody and win games over there in San Francisco. It's just, how their system works. It is a very quarterback friendly system over there in San Francisco. And I love that about San Francisco. But the Eagles, their offensive and defensive lines are just so damn good.
They
right?
are.
And that's how you win games, right up front, right on either side of the line of scrimmage. And that's how it works. And that's how they're going to win games. And that's why I feel like they are the team to watch in the NFC.
And I think the Eagles have a better secondary too. Like, just thinking about it, like looking personnel wise, you break it down, like those guys that back there are ball hawks. They're physical. But when they play each other, we'll see who the better team is, because it's going to happen. And interesting to see, how crazy NFL is. It could change week to week with just one major injury away from, a team's whole dynamic just changing and shifting. But as of right now, the Eagles, in my opinion, are the best team in the NFL.
Wow.
Not just NFC.
Oh, wow. Okay. Looking at some games last night, got a couple teams that went 0-2. And some of them are surprising. Some of them aren't. Obviously, you kind of hinted on it a little bit earlier. One of the most surprising 0-2 teams right now is the Cincinnati Bengals. What's going on there? Why is Cincinnati 0-2? Go. Hey.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Cincinnati's 0-2 because their whole locker room is in my opinion, in shambles. There's no true leader on the team. There's a divide in who should be paid and who shouldn't be paid, and it's shown on the football field, right? You have also you throw in the mix that you just paid a guy an astronomical amount of money, and he missed the whole preseason, right, due to an injury. That's not his fault, right? Could he have been back a little bit earlier? Maybe. Like, we can debate that. But when you give a guy that much money, you take the time. But now you're reaping what you sow. So you want to give a guy a quarter of $1 billion contract, right? And you want him to go out there and win football games for you that wasn't out there the whole preseason to gel and get the timing with his receivers and tight ends and offensive line and all that kind of stuff. And you have a backup in, and then you want to come in and you want him to win games for you after you paid him. There's zero motivation, in my opinion. The locker room is in awe of the money he just got. They're still processing it. All those guys are still processing it. In my opinion, from what I've heard, he's not the greatest leader in the world. And now everything's under a microscope, more of like, if I give you that much money, you got to win a football. You got to win football, not a game. You have to win games. I know we're not going to go 17-0, but you better win me 14 games, at least 13 games at least, and ride into the playoffs. Now, it can change over there, but they don't run the ball well. They're definitely, the quarterback play is down. Their defense is struggling, in my opinion, right? And so you have good guys on that team, But you guys, you're not winning football games because of, for whatever reasons I just stated. That's my opinion, but that's what I see is that team's not together and you don't have any leaders on it.
Okay. I want to talk about back in the day, there was a certain team, the Rams, that was called, great nickname, greatest show on turf, right? Great nickname. Now I'm going to flip that because there's two teams right now in the NFL that I feel like are the greatest shit show on turf. Okay. And they're one in each division. In each division right now, I feel like, and one by far in the NFC, in my opinion, is the Arizona Cardinals. Okay. How do you go into yesterday's game? You're up 20-0 at halftime against the team that the week prior got not just blown out, but blanked, right? Completely blanked, and then end up losing 31-28 by the end of the game. I feel like the Cardinals are a complete and utter mess of a team right now. What are your thoughts?
You said everything that needs to be said. I mean, it comes down to the same situation in Cincinnati where you don't have any leaders on the team and you've given your quarterback an astronomical amount of money and he's not a leader. He doesn't know how to get guys motivated. The locker room is divided. There's too many distractions going on amongst all of that. And you have a team that has talent. You have guys focused. It comes down to a coaching situation as well. You got guys focused for one half and you can't get them to understand how to finish a football game. And so when you look at New York, you can't come out and you can't the first week and get done like that. And you don't think these dudes are going to fight. And you showed like, okay, Daniel Jones understands I've been given some money now. I have to win some football games, right? But you still have a core of guys that understand what it takes to win in New York, right? Arizona's in disarray. I guarantee that 60% of those guys do not believe in Kyler Murray. I'll go out and say that. They don't believe in him.
Wow.
And so, because I'm saying, like, it just shows, like, if we can get up this much on a team and then we just you know what, in the bed all of a sudden, and we can't score another touchdown, we can't move the ball, we can't stop them on defense. Like, who is leading this team? It definitely ain't the coaches, and we definitely don't have anybody in the locker room to keep us motivated and going. Like, you have got to finish a football game. Like,
Absolutely.
give me a quarter where we shut them down again, and then fourth quarter they can make the run they want, but it's too far gone, right? Like, you guys came out and you guys might as well stay in the locker room. And now my franchise quarterback can't even move the football or get guys motivated to move. Come on, man, it's a joke. It is a complete joke. Like, they need to do some soul searching today. Ain't no victory Mondays over. We are in the lab Monday. We shouldn't get out to 5 p.m. today. We should be working and figuring out. They need a team meeting, a team-held team meeting emergency already in Arizona, because that's a problem.
So in the AFC, the team that I have, and I picked against this team, even though a lot of people, when I picked them, I picked the Washington Commanders to win this game. And people were like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, I feel like Denver is going to find a way to lose this game, right? Commanders 2-0 right now. They are probably the worst 2-0 team in the NFL right now. But they're 2-0.
But they're right. Say what you want about them, but they have won 2 football games in the National Football League, and that is not easy to do to start the season off.
Exactly.
I already know where you're going with this. Who's the biggest joke in the AFC? And I've been saying this since last year. Who's your team? Because I want to make sure we're on the same. Does it start with a D?
Yes. Denver Broncos, man. The Denver Broncos is the other greatest shit show on turf this year.
I am not disputing that. I think that you could have bought Bill Parcells into Denver, and they'll be 0-2 right now. Wow. I think that they don't have a leader on offense. I think that no one believes in the quarterback. I think league wide, a lot of guys think he's corny. He's a cornball. He's a pretender. He's all those things. I think he came from a system in Seattle that it worked. It doesn't work everywhere because you don't have the same personnel to where he's able to run around. Like, he could have ran for that touchdown or that 2-point conversion. He threw the football. He has zero confidence in himself, in his legs anymore, too. Like, his decision making is terrible. Like, rewatch just that last play. It should have been called DPI. Debatable. I thought it was. I was in front of my TV, like, throw the flag. Like, like that's BS. Like, you gotta bring him up for that. But I think he could have ran that ball, and he's trying to prove to people he's still a quarterback. No one believes in him.
Yep, I fully agree. It's a situation where Russell's decision making, it's not just his arm, it's his decision making.
Yes.
Right. That is on question right now and has been since he left Seattle. And even in Seattle, his question, I question his decision making then, because how many times did you see him scramble out? And you said it worked for Seattle because of the system and the players he had, where he would run backwards 10, 15 yards out, just turn around and be like, Lockett, go get this,
Right.
And he luckily had Tyler Lockett there to do it,
Right.
So that now he doesn't have that, and he doesn't have the chemistry with the Cortland Suttons and guys like that are on his team. And now what's he going to do? He doesn't have the players on his team that have faith for him to make the proper decision. They're arguing, amongst each other since last year. He's not throwing me the football enough. That's not a good sign.
I'm telling you right now, it's all bad.
It's all bad, straight across. I completely agree with you. And it makes me feel bad for their new head coach too, because I like Peyton. I like Sean Payton as a coach. I know a lot of people don't. I understand some of the reasonings, especially, what was that, like Target Gate or whatever it was back.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
2011.
Yeah,
2011. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But I like Sean Payton.
No, I do too. But I knew that him and Russell, like, there's like coaches, personalities don't mesh with every single player, no matter if the player's got talent or not, and especially at quarterback. Like him and Russell Wilson, I just didn't see that being a match. Like, I didn't see him being able to really. I don't see him being able to connect with him to get him to play how he wants him to play. Like, him and Drew Brees worked. Drew was more mature, in my opinion. Drew was more hard-nosed, in my opinion. Drew was fiery when Drew needed to be fiery. Like, Russell gets fiery. I'm like, man, shut up, man. Just call it a play in the huddle. Like, be quiet. Like, I'm not believing what you're talking about right now. And I guarantee you, because I've heard from guys in the league, like, this dude's a cornball. We don't believe in him. And even, like, when you watch, people call him a cornball. Like, so it's just not believable. And when I was watching and I watched them preseason, at basketball games together, I'm like, this is being forced. This isn't a real, and it's showing the first few weeks of the season. Like, come on. We should be beating the Commanders.
Yeah, they should have. They absolutely should. Every time Russell has ever opened his mouth and said, let's ride, I have cringed so hard. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you say that, imagine what players that have to see him every single day are saying about him when he's saying stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Like, it doesn't get any better. So, like, that's not a surprise, but you're spot on. Like, they're probably the worst team in the league. Yeah. Not the worst team in the league, but they're it's a problem.
They're up there. They're up there. They're bottom 5, definitely, in my opinion.
Disappointment.
Yep. The biggest disappointment right now, in my opinion, is another team in the AFC West sitting right by them who are also 0-2, right? And that is the Chargers. The Chargers are 0-2. They lost to the Titans in overtime. That is a surprising game. They were, that's a game that most people, I think, felt like the Chargers was going to win. I was like, be careful here, be careful, because if there's a defensive minded head coach that can slow the Chargers down, get some turnovers, and things that is Mike Vrabel, he, in my opinion, best coach in the AFC South. It sucks to say that as a Colts fan, but I got to give respect where respect is due, right? But yeah, the Chargers are now 0-2. Where are they going from here?
Nowhere. Nowhere. Every team so far, we look at 0-2 football teams. A few of them have some overpaid quarterbacks.
All right.
We talked about this, right? Another overpaid quarterback. We're like, where did that come from? Who? I don't believe in this guy. Now, can we just go down south real quick? I don't want to jump around, but can we go down south in the NFC? Let's look. Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling.
Yep.
I'm not saying they're running over guys, right? They had a great game yesterday but who's the quarterback down there? Right? Redemption time.
Yep.
Prove to everyone. I got paid a little money. I'm going to prove to everybody that I can still win football games and I can do this thing. Right? Big time plays being made.
Yeah.
2-0.
I mean, Baker was the butt of a lot of jokes just, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But let's face it. Baker was not a bad quarterback.
No,
right?
He was a bad place.
I don't see Baker as a top 6. I don't think he's one of the elite guys.
No.
But he is a gunslinger. And in the right situation, gunslingers can be very, very valuable and good winners in this league. And this is a pass happy league right now. You want gunslingers, right?
You don't hop off of a plane like from coast to coast and have a day to prepare, overnight to prepare and win a football game in the NFL. And you can't tell me that this guy's terrible. Like, no, he was just in bad situations. We haven't, has Carolina had the Panthers played a game this year? No, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're not even worried. Like, we're not worried about Carolina. So he went from Cleveland to Carolina, right? Then flew across country, got discarded, get out of here, flies across country, wins a football game on a Thursday night football game or something like that, right? And then, granted, he lost the next couple, whatever. But now he knows, all right, I got to get this team together. We got to play together. We're gonna fight all 4 quarters to the end, and everyone believes in it. And let's go out and win football games. Mm-hmm. This is it for me. Yeah, I got paid some money, but this is it. The money don't mean anything if I can't show up, because I've had money since I got in the league. I was, I've been a first round pick. I was top dog, right? So I've been given chance after chance. This is my last chance in a good organization traditionally. I like what Tampa Bay is doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I like the fight that they're showing. But these other guys that are overpaid and they don't have the locker room, we keep bumping up how much money we're paying these quarterbacks. You better understand, you better start paying other guys a little bit more money too. And you better understand, before I pay this guy, is this going to hurt my franchise or not? Because I know I'm paying for it to win now, but it's not panning out. Chargers, Bengals, It's not looking too good.
Well, I mean, if you're going to pay a quarterback, you better make sure that he is a guy who can win without a bunch of guys around him. Say Patrick Mahomes, right? Correct. Okay, Patrick's getting $50 million a year.
Right.
I understand that.
But he's got that locker room.
He's got the locker room. He's winning games without even Travis Kelce on the field, right? I mean, he's winning games with, second round, third round, fourth round picks out there at wide receiver, or a 7th round pick at running back, things of that nature. Offensive line having issues. He's a guy who can put the team on his back and win you games. They won a game week 1, right? Was a game that a lot of people, I understand that they lost that game, but it was so close, right? And that was without Jones, that was without Kelsey, that was without, a bunch of guys. And it was right down to the wire. And that's what a guy like Patrick Mahomes can do for you.
Correct.
Unless you got someone like that, you need guys around him. How good is Joe Burrow going to be without Boyd, without Chase, without Mixon? All these guys around him make Joe Burrow who he is.
That's what I'm saying. You can't say the same outcome would have been if you put, Joe Burrow on the Chiefs week 1 against Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
The outcome would have been completely different.
Yeah.
I wasn't it's week 1. I get it. You don't want to start the season off with a loss. But did you see anybody panicking on Kansas City sideline? Did you see them panic all through the week? We know who we are.
Yeah.
We know listen, we watch the film, we make the corrections, we come out week 2, we win a football game, we move on. Detroit thought they won the Super Bowl. That was a Super Bowl in Detroit. I was in Detroit for a year. I get it. We're grueling. We just need a win. That was a big time, the organization. Hopefully that changes the way their season goes, because I want to see Detroit finally get back to something. Come on, something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, it's okay, we fought the good fight. We were down. We were limited with what we had. But that's what you pay a great quarterback to do. They ain't going to win every single game. But we're not going to come out 0-2 and look like garbage either.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So Cincinnati problem, Chargers problem, Jets problem.
Jets problem. Jets big problem. Jets have now. I do want to talk about the Jets a little bit here before last thing we're going to talk about this with this episode, because I know you got a lot to say about the New York Jets. There's a lot of talk going around where the Jets need to make a trade to get a quarterback. Freaking who?
Right.
Who are they going to go get? Tom Brady's not going to play for New York. Okay.
No,
I know that's been thrown out. He is not playing for New York. I will guarantee you. And then the guys that are available aren't going to be much of an upgrade, if at all, over the guy that's playing for you right now in Wilson.
Right? Who could you go and get?
The Colts there's Colts fans out here saying, is it Minshew mania in the New York? The Colts would be dumb as heck to get rid of Gardner Minshew.
They're not getting
right now. They won't do it. They need that security blanket behind Anthony Richardson.
And they can't afford to have a circus of media and distractions with all that anyway. So that's
Exactly. So there really isn't. I don't think Zach Wilson is a bad quarterback. I honestly don't. I think he was put in a bad situation, much like Sam Darnold, right? Where Sam Darnold was put in a bad situation, and
Lawrence.
I honestly believe that. I'm not saying he's a
good
quarterback.
All right. I don't know.
I'm not saying he's a good quarterback.
I don't know, man.
But you put a young guy right out the gate behind a bad offensive line and bad play calling, and it starts getting up here.
Yeah.
It starts getting up here, and I feel like that's what happened with Zach. That's what happened with Darnold. The Jets have not been kind to their young quarterbacks at all. And that's the problem. Now, Zach has had time this past offseason under Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he's picked a few things up. I don't know. But I don't feel like there's a guy out there that you can go get that would be any better than Wilson right now. Where would you go?
I'm trying to think of who is out there starting wise, or they'll be up for a trade, or even a backup that's you're going
to ask Matt Ryan? I don't want Matt Ryan back there. You're going to go, come on.
You got to go find a Teddy Bridgewater-esque kind of guy. And that's
Carson Wentz.
No, man, listen. Right, exactly. We know where that's going to get you. We know, there literally is nobody. The Jets, unless they find Jimmy Hoffa's body, because I think that they are cursed because of that. They need to figure out where he is and like dig him up and get him up out of there, because this is like, I mean, it's incredible, right? I mean, the Jets just have to understand that they are who they are.
Yep.
They are who they are. Like that, it's going to be bad for a long time, and trying to get a 40-year-old quarterback to be the savior of the franchise is only a Band-Aid, and it just shows. And I hate to say it, but I never thought that was going to work out from the jump. I thought that Aaron, like, we all can't do what Tom did, being an old quarterback and coming. It's like, hey, come on, like that doesn't happen. We can't follow suit. Like that's a one-off deal. We can't look at that and think that that's going to change things. Like the Colts tried it last year, it didn't work with Matty Ice.
It still would have been nice to have seen. I hate the fact that he got the Achilles tear. I would have loved to have seen what he could have done with the Jets.
Nothing.
But
nothing. The Jets the Jets are who we thought they were, and they're always going to be that. I don't care who comes over there. Something's going to happen to where they will be a middle of the road to the bottom of the barrel. It just is what it is. I can't remember the last time the Jets have really been good, except for like 2008 when they made the playoffs, or where they were like, whatever it was, but they when Favre came for that year, and they actually were decent. Besides that,
I remember when they beat the Colts in the playoffs with Ryan as their coach. And they were a good defensive team at that time. You know, they had Darrelle Revis, and they were a good defensive team. Offensively, there was some wants there, but they were a really, really good defensive team.
But I'm just saying, overall, like the past, like let's just call it 15 years, 20 years. Yeah, they just come on, man. It just is what it is. It's just the New York Jets.
Yep.
Jets have been a mess, and it's like it's just been bad. Like it's been bad. It's not going to get any better, and you ain't going to find another quarterback. You might as well stick with them. But if you don't care, if they don't care, if they just want to continue to have turmoil and distractions in the locker room, they can go out and find a quarterback. It ain't going to work. Nothing's going to fix the Jets' problem right now. Right? You got Gardner, the young corner, does what he wants on the team. They don't have zero leadership. I mean, this goes on and on. I mean, there's zero leadership on that team at this point. Who's going to take control? Like, who is the voice of that team? I don't know. But it ain't Sauce.
You don't want Sauce. You don't want a wide receiver to be one either. I mean, we've seen that back in the early 2000s, where wide receivers and corners were incredibly outspoken, right? And it does not work for you. You need your quarterback, whoever it is, to be that leader, right?
It has to be. It's not even up for debate. It's not even up for discussion. It's not even up for anything. It has to be your quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
1,000%, your quarterback has got to be the leader. And if your quarterback is not the leader, you will not be a good football team.
Yep.
This is just that sport. And so you see all the teams that have great leaders or decent leaders are 1-1, 2-0. They're not 0-2. Look across the league.
Jets are 1-1. Yeah.
my whole spiel right there. We know why they're 1-1. They won that first game because everyone was juiced up week one, and Buffalo did not take care of business, and that was Buffalo's fault. But
it is Buffalo's fault.
Yesterday they showed who they were. Week 2 they showed who they were, and I was like, there it is. There it is.
Yep. Buffalo should have by far came out with a lot more week 1 than what they did. But I mean, Buffalo showed it to the Raiders. You know, they blew them right out the water. Josh Jacobs had -2 yards rushing. That's nasty.
Right. Hey, I guarantee you, he messed up a lot of people's fantasies.
Right. Right.
People mad at him right now.
Definitely. All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Please don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're checking this out on an audio podcast, make sure you leave a comment or something of that nature. for this. And until next time, this was Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. I'm Lawrence Owen. That was Donald Thomas. And as usual, have a good one. Go Colts.
Go Colts.
Do you believe?